question for this team is are they going to be prepared, and are they going to play hard after the energy they gave at Clemson? After they spent so much energy with South Carolina and with Miami, they didn't. We played 2 weeks without as much passion and energy. We came back and did it against Clemson. So this is a critical week for us to grow up and see if we can respond to a game after we spent a lot of energy and passion with another one back to back, and we haven't done that since the first 2 weeks. So I think that's the big question mark for us this week. We're talking about us. We're talking about standard. The standard was set last week in practice. They did great. Today I thought it was okay.
Is adding to that the fact that you've had 5 straight weeks of these close games, haven't had a bye week yet, you've got some depth issues, all those things kind of snowballing?
I think so, but again, all our excuses. It is what it is, and we don't have any choice. So we got to get to bye week, but to do that, we've got to win Saturday against Georgia Tech, or we lose a whole lot of who we are. If we'd have thought we'd be 3-3 at this point, it's great. 2-4 is going to be unacceptable. So that's just, it is what it is. We are who we are, and we're young, we're banged up. We've had a bunch of people out. We've had 5 straight games that came down the last drive, none of which matters on Saturday. You got to play Saturday, and Georgia Tech will be motivated.
When you speak about the importance of having player-led teams, is this an example of that, where maybe it's a bit more difficult for you as a staff to get them in the right frame of mind, and you kind of have to rely on players that are the leaders?
Well, it is, and so many guys that are playing in key roles are real young. So we have more on defense, more seniors on defense than we do offense, but we've got to have some leadership from somewhere this week. They've got to step up and pull it together.
Do you find, as a head coach, it's maybe a little more challenging to kind of get the guys ready, that being your job, than maybe a lot of the previous teams that you've had when they were more fortified?
I think any time in your first year, you're still trying to connect with your team. You're still trying to figure out who they are. You're trying to figure out what to say to them and what picks them up. And this team's been beaten down a lot, so you got to be careful that you don't stay on them so hard because they've lost so many games. And they have these big wins, or they play well and lose and spend a lot of energy, and then they just have trouble bouncing back. And the great teams play every week. They may not play with total passion every week, but they play hard every week, and that's something that we've got to learn to do.
Have they continued the same level of energy and attention to detail from practice last week?
No, they haven't. Practice this week has been good. It hasn't been as good as last week, which was the standard and what we needed to do.
Why do you think that's the case?
I just think they don't know how to be continuously good at this point. They've got to do that. I just told them today, your life's going to be predicated on whether you can get up and have create an edge and have energy every day. And if you can't do it out here, probably you're not going to do it in your life. So this is a great week to learn to grow up, and we'll see Saturday whether they've listened or not.
Is that a disappointing thing for you, or something that's just kind of part of the process?
Yes and yes. It's disappointing. It's part of the process, but grow up, wake up. It's football. I asked this morning in the 6:30 meeting, how many of you love football? And it was 100%. So if you love football, come and practice.
What have you seen out of Storm Duck that's allowed him to become the second corner for y'all, and what has he done well?
Storm's from a great family. He was well coached in high school. He's very talented. He's very smart, and he loves the game. So I was pushing the coaches in the spring to get him out there, and they're always hesitant with that freshman. Yeah. And I thought he did a really good job most of the time Saturday.
Going back to what you were just talking about, is there a tactic that you might use to sort of shake the tree a little bit to get them to where you need them to be as far as their focus and attention to detail? Or do you let it take care of itself because long term that's better for the program?
If it takes care of itself, you get fired. So yes, I have to deal with it. And what I told them is we're going to grade this video really hard today, and if you didn't play well in this video, we're not taking you to Atlanta. That's it. So I mean, you either are playing hard or you're not. You're either playing good or you're not. So if you're not, we don't need any hamburger eaters. Stay here.
Well, on the flip side, that's for the future of the program as well, laying sort of that foundation.
Absolutely. So if we take 45 to Atlanta and all 45 are trying, I'm in. I don't care.
What was the hamburger eater comment? What's that mean?
I said either you came to eat hamburgers and steak before the game or you came to play.
Okay.
We don't need any hamburger eaters. We need players.
That's a new one.
The guys that really have energy and get excited about the game usually can't eat pregame meal. The ones that are along for the ride look around and see whose steak's left so they can go eat some more steak.
Mack, schematically, what does Jay do that's maybe different than what most defensive coordinators are doing?
The most impressive thing to me with Jay is he brings people from all over the place and confuses the blocking schemes and the quarterbacks. And he still can play zone behind it. And he'll play some man, but a lot of times he'll still get the same amount of pressure from different people. So he may bring a linebacker and drop an end. And you still got a 4 or 5 man rush most of the time, but he's bringing it with different people, so you can't get a beat on what he's doing.
There's been a lot of talk about the heat the last month and guys getting hydrated and staying hydrated during games. Just kind of curious, you're out there for 4 hours. Do you do anything different on game day to kind of get yourself hydrated and stay hydrated during the game?
Yeah, they give me a bunch of Propel. So that's what I drink. That's my go-to drink. So, and you have to, you don't think about it, but you stand out there for a long time and you got a lot of energy and there's stress during the game, and definitely it's dangerous for all of our coaches. Some of the coaches have gotten cramps. Amazingly, I think that Brian Hess has done such a tremendous job that we haven't had cramps on our team. And usually the people we're playing against have. So as thin as we are and as many plays as guys are having to play, consistent plays, just continuously through the game, I think Brian's done an amazing job of getting them ready.
Is there a noticeable impact when Charlie's in the game or in practice?
Absolutely.
What he brings?
Absolutely. When he and Nick, we weren't sure about Nick early because he was going from guard to center, and then he did a great job, not a good job. And the center is usually the guy that leads because he's in the middle of them, talking to all of them. And then when we really lost Charlie at Wake Forest because he played with one hand, and then we didn't have him at Appalachian, and we didn't play very well up front. And his presence last week, along with his play, made a huge difference, and that's why we need him out there.
Mack, what in particular worries you about Georgia Tech, if anything?
Georgia Tech's got a lot of speed. The quarterback can really run. Jeff's a motivator. They're going to look at the record of us coming to Atlanta and have hope because we haven't played good in Atlanta since the flood. It's been a long time, and we've been inconsistent down there. He's going to tell them that look what's happened after they've spent a lot of energy. They don't play hard. They're going to be a soft team on Saturday, and then they're going to try to onside kick. They're going to throw a double reverse pass early in the game to get all their kids excited. And if we're not careful, we're going to be standing there watching all the game, and I'd rather us play.
Coach, what have you learned about Chazz Surratt as a person since he's transitioned defense?
He is really smart. He's really tough. He's playing some Wildcat quarterback for us now because Jace going down. He's very unselfish. He's very quiet. Doesn't say very much. But I've been very, very impressed. Here's a guy that's going to play both ways now. So that's pretty cool. I'm starting to call him two-way now. I don't even call him Chazz.
How many different packages do you have with him at quarterback?
We'll see.
Worth
Do
a
you
try.
recall having a guy that was basically a starter on defense that had a package or two on offense, especially quarterback?
No, not quarterback. I think we had Nathan Vasher was a great defensive back. We played some at wide receiver in special packages at Texas, but it doesn't happen very often. Just because of the time constraints in practice. And Chazz is in such great shape. What we did today is took him from the defensive drill when they were through with their 5 minutes, and while the white team was working, he came down, ran 5 minutes with the offense, then ran back. And we're not ready to use it really yet. We've got a ways to go, but we figure until we get Jace back, we need to have more options at quarterback.
Mack, you mentioned the streak down in Atlanta that lasted for so long, kind of the flukiness of it. Roy Williams is admittedly very superstitious. Are you superstitious at all?
No, but I look at facts.
Right.
The facts are they've played better than us in Atlanta. And I remember we were better than them in '97, and we still had a long fight on Thursday night to win 28-20. So, I expect this one to come down to the last drive like all the rest of ours.
So you don't spit in the river or anything like that?
No, I don't spit in the river, but I look very closely at history. And for some reason, when it's hard to play somewhere, it's hard to play somewhere. So, and this one's got it written all over it. It's screaming at us. You better be ready to play, and you haven't been ready to play all the time this year. You've played hard, but you're not good enough to win without emotion, so you better be ready to play. And I'm screaming, and history's screaming, and coaches are screaming, and I hope somebody's listening.
With Georgia Tech's blowout loss to Temple, how much stock have you put in that film?
I haven't put in, we don't put a lot of stock into film. We put stock into individual players and the plays that they're doing. that was a setup for Coach Collins because he left that team last year. So he did not want Temple on that schedule. I can promise you. I came back here 2 or 3 years after I left, and it still wasn't fun playing against guys you had recruited. That's not good, and they're mad at you. So that whole Temple team was mad at Coach Collins, and that was a setup for him. And they fumbled a couple of times going in, and they had some opportunities and just weren't able to take advantage of them.
Coach, what was your expectation of Chazz going into the season?
I really didn't know about Chazz going into the season because this spring he was kind of all over the place and he didn't have instincts. And Jay and I actually sat and talked a long time about if he doesn't learn to play linebacker, he's fast enough, we'll just blitz him all the time and just send him. We'll make it where he doesn't have to think. And last week he was phenomenal. He was all over the field and read things right, and I was just very, very impressed. In fact, for a program that's had struggles at linebacker the last couple of years, Gimmel, Surratt, and Ross played as well last week as I've seen any linebackers play in a long time. So I'm very, very proud of them.
Has your grandson gotten over the game yet?
I hadn't talked to him again. I'll get to Thursday and I'll FaceTime with him. Hopefully he's feeling better.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Mack.